Guys, fuel prices are out of control right now, but even if they weren't, I think most of us would rather spend our money on cool upgrades rather than igniting our hard-earned dollar bills on fire and shoving them into the gas tank, right? Hey, what's up guys? Josh from TrailBuilt, and real quick before we jump into our video today, and speaking of vehicle upgrades, I just want to let you guys know that we have just completed a revamping of our entire accessory store on TrailBuilt Off-Road, including adding a whole new catalog of products for the overlanding and camping communities, like overland vehicle systems, for example. So you guys are definitely gonna have to check out our new accessory store and our new accessories by clicking the link in the description below after today's video. So lately, I've been doing a lot of experimenting on different tactics to get the best fuel economy possible since picking up my V8 4Runner, and I found a few interesting things that have made some slight improvements. Now, one improvement within itself may not make a huge difference, but combining several fuel savings tactics together, and it can really add up in savings at the pump. And guys, the top 3 tactics I'll go through with you today doesn't even cost you any additional money to do. I think one of the biggest guzzlers of gas are the tires, and for several reasons. Most of us are running larger than stock tires, and without re-gearing our axles, naturally, bigger tires are going to be heavier, and if we have upgraded to larger tires, chances are they're gonna have a lot more aggressive tread on them as well. And most of us are fully aware that a bigger tire is going to lower our gas mileage, and we're okay with the trade-off. But now that we have these big aggressive tires, what can we do to increase our fuel economy with them? This is where tire maintenance becomes more critical than ever to save money on gas, with the most important one, running the tire pressures at the most optimal pressures possible. The tricky part though is that every vehicle is unique, and your optimal tire pressures to achieve the best possible fuel economy might be slightly different than someone else's, and it is certainly situational and circumstantial. For example, the more weight you're carrying or hauling, the more air pressure you'll need to run in your tires. In fact, what I found really helps reduce the rolling resistance of the General Grabber X3 mud tires that I have is to inflate them to about 40 psi when I'm loaded up with camping gear. My Grabbers are LT or light truck rated and have an E-load weight rating, which states the max air pressure at max load of 3,200 pounds per tire is 80 psi. Because I'm not running that much weight, I figure half of that is sufficient. That's just my math and what makes sense in my head. But anyways, there's a few things that I visually and physically inspect to see if that's an optimized tire pressure for getting the best fuel economy out of my Grabbers. One is less sidewall bulge. Reducing the sidewall bulge, or how much the tire squats, reduces the size of the footprint of the contact patch on the road, and the less contact patch there is, the easier it is for that tire to roll down the highway, and of course, the engine doesn't have to work as hard to roll the tires, which takes less fuel than if the engine has to work harder. But even if I'm not loaded down with gear, lately I've still been running them on the higher end of the normal side for air pressures. Right now I have my tires set at 36 psi just for savings on gas. Yeah, they ride a lot more tight, and I feel the bumps a bit more than if I were running at the recommended 32 psi, but that's okay because the Icon suspension really does a great job at soaking up those bumps anyways. And part of good tire maintenance is checking the tire pressures regularly. Since I installed the Icon Rebound Pros about a month ago, I've been checking my tire pressures weekly, just because, well, I'm curious if they were going to leak any air through the interlock bead bolts, and, well, I'm pleased to announce that they don't leak one little bit. I don't think they were going to, but I wanted to answer that with my own proof. Just make sure to check your tire pressures often, and also be careful not to overinflate them when trying to improve your fuel economy either. Too much air pressure will lead to premature tire wear, just like running without enough air pressure can. It may take some testing, and with an improved tire maintenance plan to improve fuel economy, comes an increase in tire rotations as well to keep your tires running at peak performance. Now, I know I did say earlier that these fuel economy increase tactics wouldn't even cost you any money, but if you're rotating your tires regularly and checking the air pressure in the tires often and still noticing some premature wear, well, then you may need to either have an alignment done or have your suspension and drivetrain components checked for looseness due to worn out parts. If that's the case, it's best to have those things taken care of, regardless if you're trying to save on gas or not, because, well, even though we'd love for you to buy your tires more often here at TrailBuilt, we feel it would be more value to us to help you guys solve a problem and save you money rather than to compromise our integrity and just suggest a new set of tires before you've gotten all of the life out of them. But if your tires are at that point, well, then by all means, have you guys checked out our massive inventory on tires on our website at TrailBuilt? Just saying. The next gas-saving tactic on our list is something we've already touched on, and that's the weight of our vehicles and how much excess weight we might be carrying with us every day that we really don't need to be. Being that it's summertime here in Wisconsin, I know I don't need to carry all of my recovery gear with me every day, so I took it all and neatly organized it in a small tote that I can just throw in the 4Runner when I know we're gonna be hitting the trails. If I had to guess, that tote probably weighs around 50 pounds or so. That 50 pounds may not seem like a lot, but imagine if that one tote saved me its weight in dollar bills every month in gas savings. I mean, I doubt it saves me 50 bucks in gas every month, but it doesn't hurt to have that kind of mentality when it comes to reducing weight to save gas money, right? Same thing with exterior accessories that create more wind drag. Do we really need a rooftop tent on our rigs to drive to the office every day? Or a roof rack, or cargo basket? Or the huge light bar that sits atop the windshield? How often does that actually get used on a daily basis? Or could we figure out a way to make it easily detachable and reattachable for when we know we're going to use it? And guys, don't get me wrong, I know the shit looks cool as hell, but imagine all the extra shit you could buy with all the gas money you're gonna save that you can use when you know you're actually going to use it. And I have to kind of admit here, I am playing devil's advocate here too. The Gamma VD roof rack on my 4Runner takes 8 bolts that I could just zip off in no time, maybe 15 minutes or so, and the light bar hidden behind the wind deflector and quick release connector, so I know I'm paying just a tiny bit extra at the pump for the convenience of not having to remove it during the week and reinstall it on the weekends that I know I'm going to need it. But that's the price I'm willing to pay, even though I don't want to. I also don't want to uninstall the roof rack either, so like I said, devil's advocate. Regardless, shedding some weight in pounds and improving the aerodynamics as best as possible for the vehicle you have. Jeeps, well, Jeeps are kind of hopeless anyways, but hey, every little bit counts. Okay, so we went through tire pressures and tire maintenance. We touched on shedding as much weight as possible and attempting to improve our aerodynamics. So what else? Well, if you thought that taking things out of your vehicle often only to put them back in again a few days later, or removing accessories from your 4x4 and installing them again for the weekends is going to be a challenge, well, then this one is going to be really difficult, if not impossible for the majority of us. But it may just be the #1 tactic to improve our vehicle's fuel economy, and that's, well, driving like a normal person. And yes, I just said that, and I can already hear all the gasps of disbelief and feel the ill-willed stares I'm getting right now, even through the camera.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
In fact, feels like it's getting a little warm in here. All right, all joking aside, now that we've had a chance to cool down and collect ourselves from what I just said, believe it or not, slowing down and driving conservatively according to the alternatefuelsdatacenter.gov can increase your fuel economy by 15 to 30%. Let's just call it 20%. Now, imagine if we didn't accelerate as hard, we used our cruise control at the posted speed limits, or at least close to them, and stopped passing everyone we catch up to. Now imagine getting 20% more mileage out of a tank of gas. if it cost us $100 every time we filled up and we started saving 20%, that means we would save $20 every fill up. Guys, that's a free tank of gas every 5 fill ups. Fill up 5 times, saving 20 bucks every time, and you've saved $100 over the course of 5 tanks of fuel just for driving sensibly, if it's even possible. And then combine that with regular air pressure checks in the tires, reducing your vehicle's weight, and possibly improving the aerodynamics, and the savings gets even better. Plus, there are additional little odds and ends to help save on gas. Like, make sure the engine air filter is clean, or replace it if it isn't. Or if you have the means and a cold air intake is available for your make and model vehicle, then install one of those to optimize your engine's airflow intake. Make sure the spark plugs are swapped out per the manufacturer's guidelines. Install a high flow muffler or exhaust. Research if there is a dynamic code upgrade for your vehicle that enhances the fuel flow, transmission shift points, and ignition advance. Speaking of fuel, occasionally use a fuel system cleaner, or if you really want to get technical, then have your fuel injectors flow tested just to make sure they're running at optimal pressures and aren't worn out or clogged up with crap. Which, if you haven't changed your fuel filter in a while, would be a good idea to do that too. And obviously, these last several suggestions will cost some coin. However, some of those suggestions are just maintenance items and should be done as required anyways. But either way, whether it's a maintenance item or modifications, these things all play a part in helping your engine work as effortlessly as possible, and in the end, will definitely help you save some money at the pump. And then guys, all that money saved could be reinvested on our website at TrailBuilt for a new set of wheels and tires, or that suspension lift you've always wanted, or even just some camping gear to use on the weekends, because you now know from today's video how to save on gas to help afford those weekend getaways. Alright guys, well, I hoped this video has helped you out in one way or another. But I know there are a lot of you out there who also have some great tips on saving on gas. So make sure and let us know what those are by dropping them in the comments below. Don't forget to click that link in the description to check out all of our new accessories. And guys, as always, we appreciate all of you for watching and all of your support. I'm Josh from TrailBuilt, and we'll see you guys